Hello, Lagos. Good afternoon. I'm Sandra Ezekwesili, and these are your hard facts. If you missed our conversation yesterday on the big hard fact, I recommend that you find our podcast. All right, do a simple search. Search for hard facts with Sandra Ezekwesili. Right, so search for that and go ahead and listen. We talked about whales yesterday, and I really loved our conversation about whales yesterday. My guest, Nikki Arobonlo, loved it as well. So I'm just confirming for you that she's going to be back next week, Tuesday, to answer all your questions. Next week, I'm not even going to prepare for that show. I'm not going to be asking any of my own questions. I'm just going to be asking your own questions. So you can tweet at me with your questions. My DMs are open on Twitter. So just send me a DM of your own question at Nigeria Info FM or send it via Facebook. Sandra Ezekwesili is my Facebook. My Twitter is S Ezekwesili. My Instagram is S Ezekwesili. You have questions about whales, send them there. And I'm going to be sure to ask her those questions when she's here next week, Tuesday. You can also let me know if you would prefer to send it via email. My email is Sandra at nigeriainfo.fm. Sandra at nigeriainfo.fm. You can send it there as well if that's what you prefer. Now, during the conversation yesterday, I said that our big hard fact was that 100% of people will die. And one of you smart Alex called into the show and you said this to me.
On a point of correction, Sandra.
Yes.
All of us will not die. Those who are raptured at the second coming of Christ will never taste death. Yes.
Okay. Thank
you very much.
Well played. But you know what? Even if you get raptured, you still need to write a will. Because the Bible says, we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds to meet the Lord in the air. It doesn't say we which are alive and our possessions. So guess what? Your house, your money, it will not be raptured. And those your children and those your relatives that refuse to fear God, they will not be raptured either. Now, while they are stuck on earth, enduring the great tribulation, don't you want them to have access to your possessions? So write a will. That way your unbeliever loved ones can, declare you dead and be taken care of. Huh? I kept thinking about that thing yesterday. I went home and it was all I could think about. So I had to come and say something about that for, those of you who believe in a rapture. Now, I know that the rapture hasn't happened because all 630,000 of you are still here. So let me give you the big three. If the Lord tarries, let's talk about Nigerian chickens having a food shortage. Chickens are doing 101. I'll tell you why. Then let's talk about ASUU saying that it's not safe to reopen universities. And then let's talk about Femi Fani-Kayode threatening to sue the Daily Trust for 6 billion naira. We're back streaming online, by the way. So if you want to join the show via Facebook or YouTube, go ahead and do so. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. YouTube is Nigeria Info FM. On today's Glass Ceiling and on today's The Big Hard Fact, we're discussing a single story. One single story. A couple in Port Harcourt says they gave birth to twins, but the hospital is claiming that it was only one baby. Now, this couple are insisting that the hospital return the second baby that was stolen, while the hospital is saying no such baby exists. We're going to talk to the couple, we're going to talk to experts, and we're going to find out what exactly is going on here. You're going to get news updates at the top of every hour. You need to listen to every minute of the show to catch just a minute and win 10,000 naira. After the news at 6, we're going to bring you Let's Talk from Voice of America. I'm going to be giving away recharge vouchers from 9 Mobile before the big 3 is over. So you need to keep listening so that you will find out when exactly on today's big 3 you'll win those 9 Mobile vouchers. Let me also remind you that today at 3:45 we're going to talk to a business brand who are looking for ways to get more and more people into the employment market. So if you have an unemployed somebody around you, 3:45 today, make sure they're listening so that they can tap into this huge opportunity. With that said, let's get into the big three.
This is the Big Three.
The Big Three.
On Hard Facts. On 99.3 Nigeria Info.
Why are poultry farmers putting our chickens on 101 diet? Is ASUU correct to call the reopening of universities unsafe? And should Femi Fani-Kayode and the Daily Trust kiss and make up? Those are the big three. Let's talk. So now even chickens are being forced to skip meals. Our first story is from The Punch. The Punch newspaper, they are reporting that poultry farmers all over the country are complaining about the price of chicken feed. Chicken feed. When something is cheap, we say, oh, that's chicken feed, right? You know why we say that? Because chicken feed is usually one of the cheapest things to make or one of the cheapest things to buy. Chicken feed. So what's the problem? Why is chicken feed no longer, chicken feed? The Punch and the experts they talk to say that it's because of the price of maize. Maize is the main ingredient in chicken feed. The price of maize has doubled in 4 years. In 2016, a 100-kilogram bag of maize cost 6,000 naira. Today, it's 12,000 naira. When I saw that statistic, I was stunned. And I decided to do some digging, and I found out why. Now, usually, when you hear about the price of some food going up, Nigerians are quick to say, it's because we're not producing at home. It's because we rely on importation. But when I went to look at the maize data, I found out that since independence, Nigeria has always been self-sufficient in maize. What I mean by that is, Nigeria has always produced enough maize to meet domestic consumption. In fact, the only years where our consumption was just a bit higher than our production, were 1979, 1980, 81, 82, 83, 84, 2011, 2017, 2018, 2019, and this year. 10 years out of 60. So routinely we produce enough maize. And if Nigeria had been producing maize at our normal levels between 2017 and now, the price would not have doubled. So of course the question on your mind and on my mind was, so what made us stop producing? And according to the reports from The Punch, insecurity. It has affected maize cultivation. Lots of maize farmers have been displaced by Boko Haram and by herdsmen-farmer clashes. And then there's also climate change. Lots of maize farms have been destroyed by both drought and flooding. Ironically. I know. So basically, local maize production is under siege from all sides. And this is happening at a time when demand is going up because apart from the poultry farmers, you now have the beer manufacturers needing maize as well. Now, in the past, when maize production dropped, we had maize imports, right, to fill the gap. But right now, that's out of the question. Because of COVID-19, the borders are closed. But even before COVID-19, our borders were closed since August of last year. And that meant that there was no more maize from outside coming in. Now remember that I said before that Nigeria's maize production is usually more than enough. But right now, it's gone down because of insecurity and flooding and drought. Now, what I want to ask you is, under such situations, shouldn't maize imports be allowed? I mean, even if you support the border closure because of rice, should the same rules apply to maize where clearly we just have a temporary emergency? And maize isn't the only part of the chicken feed value chain that the border is affecting. The farmers are also complaining that since last year, they could no longer find the vitamins and the other supplements that they feed their chickens to make them grow. All of this, by the way, is affecting the supply of eggs. So tell me what you think about our chickens having to skip meals because the price of maize has skyrocketed. What do you think about that? Earlier this week, we talked about the price of rice in Kano affecting human beings. Today, it's chickens that are going hungry. What do you think about the fact that insecurity and climate change are reportedly affecting the maize supply? What about the issues with the border? 0700-993-993-993. Don't forget, at 3:45, we've got to switch gears and talk to the people from Amber Drinks. They have a huge offer to share with you today on the show. So look forward to that conversation with them at 3:45 on the show today. And don't forget that we're going to talk about a couple who claim that their baby, one of the babies from the twins they think they had, was stolen by a hospital. That conversation will happen between 4 and 6. So look forward to that as well. But for right now, what do you think about our chickens having to skip meals? Christopher is up first. He's in Ikoyi. Hello, Christopher.
Hello?
How are you, sir? Welcome. Go ahead.
Oh, my God. President Sandra.
You're live on the show. Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. You didn't mean to call because you're saying, oh, my gosh.
Eh?
You are saying, oh, my gosh. Didn't you mean to call into the show?
No. I didn't know you picked it already now. It was telling me they would transfer my call.
Oh, okay. Well, hello.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Wow. Chicken. 101, how did you put it there?
101 diet.
Where's the former Minister for Agriculture?
Which one?
Audu Ogbe. The last one, the one that just leave office. It's Audu Ogbe, right?
What about him?
Is he not the one in charge of agriculture?
He just left office.
But they were telling us there's enough. The other man, there's one young man that always come to you. You interviewed him now. Say they have enough silo, enough of rice, enough of kiniko. What is that guy name? He's something special advisor to the president.
Tolu Ogunlesi?
Are
you talking about Tolu Ogunlesi?
No, he has one name like that.
Ajurin Gelale?
Ngelari. Where is Ngelari? Because when people were complaining about the farmers and the herdsmen clash and the insecurity, Ngelari said, no, they have everything in abundance. He mentioned Ebonyi, how many silos they build in Ebonyi, how many chemicals they do this in this, and today look at where we find ourselves. You know my happiness, President Sandra?
What's your happiness?
No more blame on the former people who were there, PDP. Because for the past 5 years, but for days now, I never hear them blame PDP anymore. So we're in for it. Let us just face the music.
Face the music, he says. All right, Azubike is in Ekpe. Hello, Azubike. Thanks for calling.
Okay, hello. Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. What do you think about our chickens doing 101 diet?
Okay, madam, I'm privileged to work in a poultry farm there.
Fantastic.
And often we've been experiencing challenges on feed delivery.
Okay.
So before the lockdown, normally we receive feed at any time we make a request of like 600 bags, 700 bags.
Okay.
But now you pay them for like 2 weeks ahead of time. They will still be complaining to you that they will not be able to give you like 200 bags of feed. So you have to keep your beds off from eating for like some days.
Okay.
So that
there'll be enough food.
So that we'll be getting your daily production of eggs. And you know that once birds don't eat feed normally, it reduces their egg production. Like if you've been getting like 700 crates in a day, perhaps you might be getting like 600 plus. So really it's affecting the production of eggs. Then come to think of it, we've been deliberating on it. I have a friend here that works in maize farming.
Okay.
Before time, the the cost of maize, 100 kilogram, that is 100 kg, was 6,000 naira. But now, at Plateau State, some sell 18,000, while some sell 16,000. So feed that, like top feed or chicken feed that was supposed to be at the rate of 2,700 has increased to 3,650 for top feed. So if you calculate the cost of feed, then come to think of how you pay your workers, you find out that you barely make your gains as before. So I will, if I was to be in a government office, I will advise the government because I think that the law is meant to the closure of border favors mostly the farmers.
Okay.
Like somebody is planting maize. That person is only getting his income, while the others that doesn't plant anything, they barely make money. Now, if I was to be the president, I will advise Nigerians that the closure of border should be checkmated. At least maize importation should be opened so that the drop of feed, the cost of feed will reduce, and the birds will be feeding as
they used to feed before. Azubike, thank you so much for calling and sharing your first-hand experience and insights with this thing. What I love about some of the topics we discuss here on Hard Facts is how it brings out different kinds of professionals. Sam is in Mowe Ibafo. Are you still there, Sam?
Yes, I am.
Thanks for calling. Go ahead.
Okay, Sandra, this corn of a thing, this is not the right time for government to ban corn. It does not only affect chicken. I'm a farmer, I'm a fish farmer.
Okay.
It affects fish feed as well.
Oh, really?
Yes, it affects fish feed.
Okay.
And people, we just stay. People in the cities don't understand what farmers in the farm are
experiencing.
Going through.
Tell me about how it affects fish farming. Tell me, paint a picture for me.
Yes, it is like, okay, just early this week. Last week I went to buy fish feed. It was for a bag, I will not mention the brand now.
Okay.
Was 5,000. The last time when I got there, it's 5,900. 300 naira have gone on top of a bag just within how many days? If I'm to buy 10 bags, you know how much? 3,000 have gone up. That is what it means.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Sam. I'm so sorry. But thank you so much for calling us. I'd like to hear from other farmers, but let's quickly pivot to our second story because we have that interview coming up at 3:45 with Amber Drinks. In our second story, a top ASUU official is saying that opening universities right now would be unsafe. Odusiji Sowande is coordinator of the Lagos Zone Academic Staff Union of Universities, and he said government has not done enough to help the universities open safely. Here's what he said, quote, "The response of the public universities to the call by the National University Commission for their readiness to reopen indicates that public universities are not ready. Hostel accommodation is inadequate. There are no facilities on ground to carry out physical distancing in large and crowded classes. Water and electricity supplies are not reliable. Reopening tertiary institutions without taking concrete steps to address these issues will be suicidal." While government made arrangements for special bailout for airline operators and other private entities, no such arrangement was made for public universities. Therefore, government should be ready to take responsibility for any possible negative consequences after reopening of universities. End quote. Now let's break down what Sowande is saying. He's saying the only way for universities to open safely without becoming breeding grounds for COVID-19 is if there are certain measures in place. First, there must be social distancing in classes and hostels. But remember, even before COVID, classes and hostels were overcrowded. they were jam-packed because most universities don't have enough buildings and rooms for the number of students admitted. Now, under social distancing, you're supposed to space them out. What happens to all those excess students who suddenly can't even pack themselves like sardines in the classroom anymore, like they were managing to do before? How do you teach them? How do they learn? Then he also talked about water. This is critical because every day we're telling people to wash their hands, sanitize their hands constantly. How easy is it to do that inside a university campus? We all know how most times in a Nigerian university, you will not find a tap with running water anywhere in your department. You have to go a distance to find it. In fact, you go that distance if you know you will find out. You guys buy sachet water to them. It's shameful, but it's the truth. So what the coordinator of the Lagos zone is saying is, if the situation is still like this, how can we expect these universities to open safely? Now, on a separate note, they asked him why Nigerian universities have not contributed more to the war on COVID-19 in terms of discoveries or research. And he said something interesting. He said, quote, if government has faithfully implemented the 2012 Needs Assessment Report, which identified the intensity of the rot in education sector and tertiary education in particular, Nigerian public universities would have been more involved in COVID-19 testing and developing solutions through cutting-edge research in well-equipped laboratories. End quote. Now, you see that 2012 Needs Assessment Report that he's talking about. That report is one of the reasons why ASUU keeps going on strike. Government agreed to implement all or part of that report to raise the standard of facilities in the public universities, the ones owned by government. It's based on an agreement between President Yaradua and ASUU. President Yaradua did not honor it before he died. President Jonathan inherited the agreement and ordered the needs assessment. He did not honor it when he left office, before he left office. Now it's President Buhari's turn, and ASUU is still waiting for that agreement to be honored. And I'm bringing this up because apart from money for upgrading research labs, the report also calls for money to upgrade water and sanitation systems in universities. They also need this for expanding hostels and for building new classroom blocks. So basically, if that report had been implemented at any time in the last 8 years, our universities would have been in a better position to fight COVID-19. What do you think about this? When it comes to public universities owned by government, who do you think should be held responsible for safe reopening? Universities or government? Do you agree with the ASUU official that universities are not ready to reopen safely? 0700-993-993-993. If you're a farmer, I still want to hear from you about our story about the chickens who are now on a 101 diet. What do you think about that? What do you think about the fact that insecurity and climate change are reportedly affecting the maize supply? Let's talk to Prince YS in Amuotoffing. I'm going to come to WhatsApp as well as Facebook and Twitter in a bit. Facebook is Nigeria Info 99.3. Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM. And WhatsApp is 080-959-75805. Hello.
Afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon, Prince YS.
How are you today?
Very well. How are you?
Yeah. But I disagree with ASUU.
You disagree with what? Prince YS? Hello? Oh, I'm sorry, Prince YS. Let's go to Twitter, shall we? Let's go to Twitter and then we'll go to WhatsApp and then we'll go to Facebook. Like I said, Twitter is at Nigeria Info FM, at Nigeria Info FM. We've got Gil Weir who says, every living thing must earn what it needs. That's what this led administration has taught us, including the chickens. So if the chickens want a 3-square meal, they should work for it. Amazing Stores says, I don't think it's safe to reopen schools except medical facilities are put in place. I have been isolated at Yaba. I know how much damage that virus can do. Government should be careful, please, except they want to depopulate the country. Good afternoon, Sandra. I'm really enjoying your program. This statement means chicken feed more than human beings in Nigeria because 70% of Nigerian citizens are living below poverty level and they are unable to provide at least 2 square meals a day. Where is Ajurin Gilale, the SSA to the President on Public Affairs? Kenneth from Enugu says. All right, Kenneth, thank you for sending your message in. Sandra, I totally agree with ASUU. You don't think our leaders have put decisive measures in place before announcing the date of school resumption. And look, not only the higher institutions, also both primary and secondary schools. I don't think we are fit enough for reopening. Government is only looking at economic implications. That's why they're trying to succumb. And also there's pressure from the private school owners. And they're not considering the health and lives implications. I'm very surprised as the chicken feed price could also go up in this manner. It's very unfortunate. I'll appeal to PMB to look into this. Even this is what the National Assembly guys should be fighting for, not the water bill that is against the wishes of ordinary Nigerians. Alaba Alape says, Alaba, thanks for sending your message in. School should be open, please, Ezekiel says, and Ezekiel is in Lekki. Hi, Sandra. Corn scarcity could be linked to the restiveness in some parts of the north. Farmers cannot go to farm, and COVID-19 also came. Sam is right here in Lagos. Let poultry farmers practice free-range method for their chicks. Charles Infestac is saying, but free-range chickens are not, as what's the word I'm looking for now? They're not a good idea for when you want to mass raise chickens. For huge poultry farming, it's typically not a good idea. Frank from Yaba says, I strongly feel the chickens should take to the streets and protest for their rights near my house. This is injustice. Fight the power. All right. I see you're looking for free chicken to steal. But thank you for sending your thoughts in. I appreciate the humor. I'm going to come to Facebook in a bit, but let me take a few calls. 99.3. Hello.
Hello.
How are you? What's your name?
Sandra, my name is Chibueze. Good afternoon.
Welcome, Chibueze. Good afternoon.
Yes, well done. Sandra, first, it's laughable when chicken is asking for more ration, when human beings cannot even get quarter of what they are taking. Did you hear last week or last 2 weeks, Nigeria said we're importing grains from ECOWAS? I don't it's in the social media. I don't know how you hear. So if they are importing grains for human, when they mean grains, I know that they were talking of majorly rice. The same rice we banned the importation, we are now borrowing from ECOWAS. Now, if human beings cannot get enough rice to eat, is it chickens that will be expecting to belefu? So it's ironical.
But if chickens don't belefu, it will affect humans because humans eat the eggs that chickens make, and chickens can't make eggs if they don't belefu.
Sandra, you're talking about people who understand that chickens make eggs. I tell you the truth, Nigerians. If things continue this way, by next year or next 2 years, we'll be eating the real chicken, the real chick, those ones that just hatch from egg. We'll be eating them because we have no. As it is now, there's no alternative. Things are going bad. Secondly, about education, Sandra, you see. Some time ago, I read that the University of California, their 1 year budget, annual budget, is bigger than the budget of the whole of Nigeria. I don't know how true it is. There was yes. How many people can actually get free education in Nigeria? I know the time I got admission, even though I didn't go, in London some time ago. Many people around the world paid for my tuition fee. Around the world. Why can't the federal government of Nigeria attract such people? Do you know the reason why we can't attract people?
Why?
Because we are not research and science based. We are not science oriented. Any country that their universities are not based on science and research cannot grow. The only thing that flourishes in our universities is to go and study politics, how to carry the money and move away. We forgot that, yes, with research, there is nothing you cannot do. The whole world universities are fighting to get to the root of how to, tackle COVID-19. Tell me a single university in Nigeria that is even doing something on that.
Yeah, there is. The Afe Babalola University.
They are doing. Now, why can't federal government pump in money in that university to get something out? If you watch, Afe Babalola is a private university.
Well, it's a Nigerian university. You didn't specify.
Yeah,
you said, tell me one university.
It's a private. Is it a public university? Tell me the truth, Sandra. It's not. And if you watch closely, their funding is coming from external, either from outside Nigeria or elsewhere. So the thing is that our rulers have maintained, they have sworn that education must take on the backstage. And that is why annually when you see their budget, they make nothing for education. Forgetting that if brains continue to die in Nigeria, the nation keeps on dying. Because if you cannot raise people that can think faster than the daily needs, I mean, where are we? We can't think more than what we are seeing every day. Some people are thinking faster than tomorrow and next tomorrow. But we are not. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you, Jiboza, for calling me. Jeremiah is in Ikeja. Jeremiah's call is the last one I'll take. Hello, Jeremiah.
Good afternoon, Sandra.
Good afternoon. Thanks for calling.
How is life?
Life is okay. How's your life?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, go ahead.
I just want to contribute to the program.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
All I have to say is about the opening of school, that government has to be careful. I think it should be a gradual reopening, just as they started it, just to give it a test and see what will happen. They shouldn't be pressurized to open the school 100%. They need to, government must put a measure, and follow it up. Then about agriculture, I would say, you and I know that know about the situation the country is going through. Everybody is going. When we say the country, we mean people. We in the country, no matter who you are, at least you will feel it that things are not the way they should be going. The question is, the money the government have been recovering and the multiple taxation on Nigeria, where are those money going to? Are they getting those money together for a few people to make use of it, like the NDDC, something like other places, individual we heard with Nigeria money? Nigeria should rise and ask what is going on.
What is going on? Jeremiah says. Jeremiah, thank you for calling us. Femi Fani-Kayode has retracted his insults towards Charles Ayo, but is also threatening to sue his newspaper, The Daily Trust. That's our third story. Femi Fani-Kayode said he's sorry that he used the word stupid. We already talked about that, remember? But after his retraction, The Daily Trust published 2 letters which he believes were insulting to him and defamatory. In one of the letters, the newspapers suggested that he is a drug addict. They also accused him of not being gentlemanly and not deserving of being called to the bar. Now, Fani-Kayode is saying that he will not take it. So his lawyers have written to the newspaper demanding that they retract their statements about him or face a defamation lawsuit. According to them, he'll be seeking 6 billion naira in damages. Now, let's talk about this entire episode, right? Let's talk about the conduct of both the public figure and the newspaper. A journalist asks a question. Who is bankrolling this tour? A perfectly normal question. Like I said, somebody is going from state to state. inspecting projects, reporting those projects to the press. Obviously, he's spending money on his trip. Is it donated money? Is he funding himself? Is it a political party involved? These are valid questions that you, the public, deserve answers to. Oh, and I am a former minister is not an answer. Unless we're expecting that former ministers will have a lot of money. Unless that's what we're saying, that we expect them to have a lot of money. And if that's what we're saying, why would we expect that a former minister will have a lot of money? Do former ministers have some extra income we don't know about? Well, anyway, he flew off the handle when he was asked that question. He insulted, he threatened Charles Ayo, and the Daily Trust stood by their reporter, and rightly so. The NUJ stood by the reporter, rightly so. Some NUJ chapters announced a boycott of Fani-Kayode, and so he retracted. But after that, the Daily Trust went a step further. They went 2 steps further. They published those editorials. And in one of the editorials, they called Fani-Kayode a drug addict. And some Nigerians are asking, what's the difference between this and what Fani-Kayode did? Other Nigerians are asking whether professional standards were followed. I mean, someone is calling another person a drug addict in print. And they're doing that without tendering evidence. You get a CB now. No? What do you think about that? We've got just 2 minutes, so I'm going to just take thoughts via WhatsApp. Remember, we have to have a conversation with Amber Drinks at 45. Don't forget, between 4 and 6, we'll have a conversation about a couple in Port Harcourt who think that their baby was stolen by a hospital. They thought they were pregnant with twins because a scan told them that they were pregnant with twins. But when they got in there during the cesarean operation, only one baby was found. At least that's the story that the hospital is telling. So that conversation, we're going to have it at 4 o'clock today. So don't miss that conversation, right? But what do you think about this? Do you think the Daily Trust lost the moral high ground here by calling Fani-Kayode names? Is this also part of the same loss of civility we talked about when we discussed his insulting Charles Ayo? Now, remember, you have to keep your comments polite, all right? No insults, no abuses. If you do that, I will cut you off. We've got a comment here from Ralph who says, we have no reasonable persons as government participants. Instead, we need the kind of Trump leadership or the Idi Amin, a country where the scholars and well-read people slave for thugs and illiterates. Just imagine the response to COVID-19 by government since it began. All politics, no value added to the people. Ralph, thanks for sending your message in. Defamation can stand in FFK's suit if the story by Daily Trust is not fact and cannot be proven. We've heard stories from people that know him in the UK and who have been saying it. Notable people are questioned, criticized, and their private life looked into. So they do what they do. All right. Thank you for sending your message in. FFK likes grandstanding. He's been unnecessarily garrulous and thinks he's a rare achiever. He should personally apologize to the journalist and the company. Ihan Yobata says. We'll take another message here. Peter says, ASUU have been systematically inept, corrupt, or simply selfish. If ASUU is sincere, they should fight to criminalize private schools or abroad for all government officials, including VCs and others. Please, they should deal with the root cause if they want to be taken seriously by we Nigerians and see quality education in our country. All right, Lagos. Thank you for being a part of today's Big Three. Like I've been telling you since we started, we have a conversation coming up with representatives from Amber Drinks. So let's have that conversation, shall we? You're listening to Hard Facts on 99.3 Nigeria Info. I am Sandra Ezekwesili.